Start the video. That's whack. This is my life right now. Hold on. Anyway, sad that my Google technique is whack is all get out because I had the link, but you know, like Google will like compress your email and push stuff to the side, and when you click on stuff, everything's not there. That's what I had going on, and now I can't start a video yet. Okay, that's whack. So let me log out.
You guys, is Cypher Tuesdays a part of the panel?
That's probably Siobhan.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Let me restart my stuff because I'm gonna need a little bit of video here.
You're on mute, right?
Playing. Did you already leave?
Yeah, I think yeah, I'm real quick.
I'm about to say because you could just there was a problem with his video, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he could have just like troubleshoot it in his settings and he could have fixed it. It would have probably fixed itself.
We just need a few more moments here, I guess. Just give us a few more moments here. Just want to cycle through. I guess I'll kind of do a roll call.
Yeah, we're missing Paris.
We're missing Paris. Yeah, I see Alyssa. Cool. Mensah. All right. Poetry. Ray. Okay. Y'all saw that?
No.
Good job.
Okay. Oh, somebody did.
I do it all the time.
Look, man, that was like, hold on, give me 10 seconds.
We're live, y'all.
All right.
Everybody looks good.
Shining on them.
Okay. So sorry about that, guys.
Yep, we're on the book.
We got everyone?
Nope.
No, still? Okay.
We have to start because we're live if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Are we
I
busy?
believe we are.
Yeah, they can see. Yeah, I'm seeing us those. All right, and just real quick.
Let's rock and roll.
We're rocking and rolling. All right. Give me a second here. Welcome. How is everybody doing today?
Fantastic.
Doing good, doing well.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, guys. And for those that are tuning in, thank you for tuning in. My name is Nayland Smart with Seasoning Magazine. Seasoning Magazine is a contemporary arts magazine based here in the 757 Virginia area. And currently you are tuning into our panel discussion for the Light from All Sides exhibit that is taking place at Downing Gross Cultural Arts Center in Newport News, Virginia. We are actually having a panel with the artists that are featured in this exhibit. First and foremost, we definitely want to thank Downing Gross for the sponsorship of this panel discussion, as well as Light from All Sides, which is the artists that are featured here. And of course, Seasoning Magazine for making this very much possible here today. And as we progress to the public that is viewing currently, this is very much a way for you guys to engage with the artists. So we definitely want you to comment on Facebook or how you're viewing right now, just any questions you may have to the artist individually. We'll be going towards that later on in the actual discussion. So the more you can comment, the more questions we can try to get to. And we're looking for questions, again, specifically to the artists that are mentioned here today. So again, thank you for tuning in. And we are just going to flow through things. So the whole purpose of this panel here is to basically get a voice of the artists that are featured. There are actually 9 artists total that are featured into this exhibit. And it's going to be up from now all the way till March 6th at Downing Gross Cultural Arts Center. So what you would do is definitely tune in and go to their website, go to their Instagram, Facebook page, check out any information you may need to register so you can see the exhibit. But it is definitely possible for you to see this exhibit up until March 6th. And what's awesome about this exhibit is that there is a tone, I believe, of love that they are highlighting in this exhibit. And I don't want to give too much away because I want to get the artists themselves to definitely speak on that. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of just not hold up anymore and actually give some introductions here. So of course, the artists, as I mentioned you, please go ahead and make yourself known, say your name, of course, where you're from, and give a little bit of information about yourself real quick. And I'm going to start with Miss Alyssa Pickens. If you can, introduce yourself to the public. Say hello.
Hello, my name's Alyssa. I go by Alyssa Chanel. I am 29. Yeah, 29, I think. I'm from Newport News. I graduated from Christopher Newport in art. and I've been painting for about 6-7 years, somewhere in there.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Alyssa. All right. And we're going to go ahead and go next to Miss Jasmine Hampton.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Hamden. I'm 26 years old. Right now I'm currently studying at ODU. My major is fine arts, and I'm currently residing in Hampton right now.
Awesome. Awesome. Sorry, I got a little bit of feedback. Thank you so much, Jasmine. And then we're going to go next to the next artist, which is Miss Poetry Jackson. How are you today?
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Poetry Jackson. I am 33 years old. I am a self-taught visual artist. I've been painting since about 2013. I'm just happy to be here with these beautiful, creative, intellectual folks. And, that's pretty much it.
Yes, yes. Thank you again, Miss Poetry. All right. And then next we have Mr. Mensah Bay.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's still morning where I am, but I'm Mensah Bay. I'm 32 years old. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, currently residing in San Diego as of this month. And I received my bachelor's from Hampton University and my master's in fine arts from Norfolk State University in 2018. So I've been creating for years and gotten real serious over the last 5 or 6 years.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Thank you so much. And next we're going to go to Parish Majestic.
Parish is not with us at this time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. No problem. Sorry. We're going to have him jump in here in a little bit later on. Okay. Sorry about that. We're going to go next to then Mr. Ray Johnson.
How y'all doing? My name is Ray Johnson. I'm 35. I studied at Atlanta College of Art and SCAD in Atlanta for illustration, but I'm a self-taught painter. Probably been painting about 6, 7 years now.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ray. All right. And next we're going to go to Miss Siobhan. How are you, Miss Siobhan?
It's Wizenat.
Wizenat. Yes. I was
like
flowing it. Wizenat. Yes, Wizenat. Gotcha.
It's like astronaut with a W. That's how I tell people to pronounce it.
Yes,
Wizenat.
thank you. You.
You want to be fancy? It's Haitian Creole. You can put a little NANT, the nonk at the end if you want to be fancy about it. But
Okay.
yes, but my name is Siobhan Wizenat, and I am 30 years old, and I have been painting for about 15 years now. I would say it's hereditary. Comes down the line. My grandmother's a magician of a seamstress. My mother was a carpenter and a singer, and I'm a painter and everything else. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Siobhan. All right. Siobhan Wizenat, correct?
You're good enough, yes.
We're going to flow with it. I appreciate the grace. All right, cool. We're going to go to Rayne Spann.
Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing today? My name is Rayne Spann. I'm 22 years old. I currently study computer engineering at Old Dominion University, and I've been painting for professionally since 2016, but I've been making art my entire life. But I've been taking it serious the past 4 years though.
Thank you so much, Rayne. All right, and then last but certainly not least, we have Julian Haskins. Julian, you there? You got Julian?
Julian has not joined us as of yet.
Okay, gotcha. Not a problem. All right, keep it moving here. So what I would like to do then is basically flow into the artist, just giving a brief description of the pieces that they have featured in the exhibit in Downing Groves. So I'll just, of course, introduce the artist, and then for all the viewers that are watching, the artist will then actually describe the name of their piece, actually what influenced them with their piece, and then what they were trying to convey in the message. So just to give you a heads up, that's what you'd be expecting. So I'm gonna first start off with Miss Alyssa Pickens. If you don't mind, take it away. Talk about your piece.
My piece is called I Am Mine and Mine Alone. My focus was on the love of self and becoming. For me, I wanted her to have a pose like she was like pledging to herself. That's why her hand is on her heart. I paint with a lot of flowers just because I think flowers are naturally beautiful, and I want to kind of parallel that with the natural beauty that is within the people that I paint. And especially for Black people, I think that's really important when we're sometimes told that we're not beautiful or we're not important. And I want to use the flowers as like a crown to show that we are important. And I do get a lot of my influence from like Kehinde Wiley and like the Renaissance type portraits too. So
awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, your work is beautiful, guys. As you guys, of course, are listening in, of course, I'm going to always throw in there to please check out the exhibit at Down and Gross Cultural Arts Center, because I know we might have some people jumping in later on and viewing. So I'm always going to throw that out there, Down and Gross Cultural Arts Center. Check them out on Facebook as well as Instagram. They have their links in their bios. But thank you so much, Alyssa. That is beautiful for describing that.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. And then next, I want to have Miss Jasmine Hampton. Please take it away.
So my piece is called A New Life, and it was inspired by my current pregnancy journey. It's about letting go of an old version of myself and seeing myself in a new light, seeing myself as a mother, rediscovering myself, who I am as an artist and as a woman. It's all about transition. I express that through the material that I use in the painting, and also the colors and the line work.
Beautiful. Yes. Check it out. So again, beautiful work. Everybody, I'm just going to throw this out there. I saw the exhibit. Beautiful work all around for explaining that and sharing your journey with us through your art is definitely that footprint inspires the next generation. So we really appreciate that and your time with that work. Ooh, getting goosebumps. Okay, next, Miss Poetry Jackson, please.
Peace. My piece is called In the Garden. And it's a painting of a young Black girl meditating in a field of flowers. And it's supposed to symbolize having a happy space or a happy place. And so the garden is actually not a literal place, but more or less an idea of a happy place inside of herself, a safe place. So she could be anywhere in the world dealing and trying to balance anything, but she has that safe place inside of her, and it's beautiful. And also the sky, if you notice, it goes from your root chakra to your crown chakra. So I tried to also incorporate the colors of the chakras and that symbolism in the piece as well. And then you have the swirling clouds, just kind of letting you know that she's in an abstract place. And so it's supposed to just represent a very safe place inside of yourself. And so that's kind of the idea for that piece. And the subject was communication. And I like to say the most important conversation is the conversation that you have with yourself and the things that you say to yourself. And so that's kind of how I was able to incorporate the symbolism and the subject matter together for that piece.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Poetry.
Thank you.
I love the fact. Thank you. And just real quick, while we're in here before I get to the next artist, just want to say thank you for Down and Gross. As you guys can see, Down and Gross, and also this exhibit. Just I forgot to mention this earlier, but it is curated by Mr. Clayton Singleton. Let me make sure I get that in there. Of course, I'm going to throw that in there later on as well. But he's the master curator behind this vision. So he's definitely sharing a lot of the images, and Down and Gross is sharing the images as you guys hear the artists talk about them. So, of course, they're images, but we really want you guys, again, to go to the exhibit. Please go to the exhibit at Down and Gross Cultural Arts Center in Newport News, Virginia. Register online. Set up your appointment. You got to see the work in person. Thank you so much, Poetry, for explaining that. All right. And then, of course, next we're going to have Mr. Mensah Bay. Take it away. I didn't plan to make that rhyme, but, you know, it did.
All right. So my work was titled The Selflessness of Selfies. I love the alliteration of words and words. And my theme was community that Clayton has sent to me. And so as I was thinking of my own work and where community exists within my works, I looked at the virtual world, social media, and hashtags like that create so many communities when you look at the symbol of a hashtag and how it's used today. And so I thought in the idea of like the hashtag selfie, how many times people hashtag that. And so when you look at the work, you see two people who are from two separate images that I've put together to kind of create this building of a community. And it's because it's an individual expression of love or self-love, and amongst a group of people now becomes a group shot, not just this singular focus. And so I was looking at how we use the virtual world to create these communities and express ourselves in love.
Wow, awesome! Thank you so much, Mensah, again for and I love the way you just kind of your style with the actual concept. Oh man, amazing work. Thank you so much, Mensah.
Sir.
Yeah, again, everyone viewing, again, I'm the guy that's going to keep plugging it in. Remember, this is an exhibit for Downhill Cultural Arts Center. It's up until March 6th, so you still have some time. Please check it out. Check them out as well as Facebook and Instagram for more info. Thank you so much, Mensah. Okay, and then I'm going to go next to Mr. Ray Johnson. Take it away.
How y'all doing? My painting was titled "Fear of a Rising Sun." The theme Clayton gave me was family. A huge inspiration to my piece was the book Between the World and Me. It's a great book. Go check it out. But I basically want to just paint something that empowered myself and my sons. I really thought about the things that my dad has instilled in me and the things that I'm trying to instill into my sons to keep just a positive, great family legacy going. But I also wanted to include some of the things that are going on in the world today, just with, things going on in our community or how we feel it's about being Black and being males in today's world. So that's really it.
All right. Thank you so much, Ray. And of course, guys, everyone that's viewing, please check out the comment section for everyone's Instagram, their information, their handles on Instagram, Facebook. So this is also for everyone that's viewing this later on. Please go into the comment section. That way you can follow along, track these artists as they're progressing and, interact with them later on. And please put your questions in the comment section. Again, we would love to hear from you. We're monitoring it, we're seeing it. So, just to reassure you, we are looking at Facebook right now, waiting for your questions. So please don't be afraid to, drop something there. But thanks so much, Ray, for explaining that. Awesome work. All right, and Miss Siobhan with Senat. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna keep trying, Siobhan. Please bear with me, but I'm gonna keep trying.
Be good. You're doing better. Every time you do better.
All right.
What a momentum.
Hey, it happens. The dog gotta get their piece in.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you, guys. That threw me off. Reset me, please. We are talking about. You guys can hear me, yes?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay. The title of my piece is On a String. The subject for me that I was given was authenticity. For me, showed an authenticity because if you notice, it's very bare in the sense of the canvas has been stripped. There are singular pieces, and there is really nothing there by chance. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you can see from the frame to the screws is very intentional. And I think that for me drew on especially the triangle in the middle. It's called a paradox or a Penrose triangle. And a paradox is kind of like, to my understanding of the definition, is when something is so true that it seems like it can't be true, but it is true. And to me, though, that kind of parallels with authenticity. I paired that with one of the most authentic relationships that I've ever had, and told a story. I kind of took this opportunity to, if you look at it, you may feel like you're looking into almost like a children's book. I don't know if you notice, but a lot of my stuff is like very brightly themed, and it makes it easy to feel really kind and happy until you start to really study where the strings are attaching and what kind of stories and sentences and story and happenings your mind forms following one object to the other. You know, because it does kind of create a story within your own mind. So yeah, that's kind of what mine's about.
Thanks so much, Siobhan. Appreciate that. Yeah, beautiful work again, to everyone. But yes, thank you for that, because that is beautiful work. And yeah, okay. And all right. And next, I want to go to Rayne Spann.
Yeah. So my piece itself, it was called it's called Triune. And it was heavily inspired by this idea of transition that Clayton gave me too. He gave everybody ideas, and mine was transition. So when I was like first approaching it, you know, I associate transition with movement, with dance, and you know, just color gradation in general. You know, all of those things are different forms of transition. It's not just, you know, like the physical sense that we think about. It's growth. You know, transition is growth, and either way is transition. So, you know, with COVID going on and everything, kind of put a pause on it. But, you know, during that whole entire period, I went through an entire different phase of transition that I decided to depict. And, you know, just my changing color palette, which is, you know, the indigos and the violets, which is also, you know, another color that represents, like, I guess, quote unquote, enlightenment or you know, the greatest moment of change, that pinnacle point. And I really use that idea of, you know, like the three personalities like that everybody has, like the spirit, the body, and the mind, as a way to communicate, you know, ever transition of self and just growth in general.
Awesome. Beautiful work. All right. Thanks so much, Rayne. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're flowing. Everyone that's viewing, again, Downing. I believe the website is Downing, DOWNING dash gross GROSS.org/LFAS for Light from All Sides. Definitely want you to plug in. Please get connected with that. All right. And what I might do, guys, is I may come back, kind of circle back to you after I kind of get everybody's pieces out, just so I can come back and ask you, you know, of course, the questions specifically to you guys. But yeah, I'm going to go next. Actually, that was the last person I believe we have. We didn't have someone next again. So I believe we can go right into the questions, actually. So I actually have a question. I'm going to go to Miss Alyssa, actually, just because, you know, I know you went first and you made a reference to Kehinde Wiley. So I want to try to touch on a question here. Matter of fact, you know, Kehinde Wiley is one of your influencers. Listeners who know his work are familiar with his use of flowers, like you mentioned before. That was a big influence for you as well. If you could take us into your affection with floral crowns in your work, because I noticed that was very prevalent and standing out in your piece. What drove you to select the Sunflower sold by Londrell? I hope I said it perfectly correct, as your self-selected song for the show? Because, you know, there's definitely a playlist that you guys have out. So what kind of made you go into that song as your choice?
Well, the song is pretty much about you know, like flowers have to go through, they need to have rain in order to grow. So that parallels with like adulthood is hard. I don't know. So you have to go through the hard times in order to, you know, grow and come into yourself as a person, which is something I've definitely done throughout my 20s. So, and then I love sunflowers. That's my favorite flower, obviously. But so yeah, that's why I chose that song. As far as like Kende Wiley and his influence on me, so I remember like the first time I ever saw one of his paintings was in person was at the VMFA a couple of years ago when he had his show down in Richmond. And like I turned the corner and the first painting I saw, I wrote it down. I got notes.
Bring them out.
Yeah, it's the first painting I saw. It's called Willem van Huythuizen. I don't know. I'm probably not saying that right, but
it's okay.
It's this big 8x6 and painting of this guy in a Sean John white tracksuit, and it's got a red background and gold like floral decor in the background, and like that was the first painting I saw, and like I was just completely blown away. So I wanted to kind of give that feeling to somebody else when they saw my piece. So that's why I used the red and the gold, which are colors that I don't normally use, but red is just so bold that I had to use it. But I mean, I do like to use like the floral element that he has too, just in a different way. The way I use it relates more to like my identity and sense of self, just trying to find my love for myself. And I think that using the flowers as like a crown, it helps to symbolize royalty and like importance.
Yeah, awesome. And real quick, just to kind of stay a little bit on your piece, what made you go with that facial expression? Because the facial expression, I don't want to kind of say, to me, it seems kind of stoic a little bit. Like she was, her facial expression was very becoming. You know, and I hope I'm kind of, you know, in that realm. But what made you go with that, you know, facial expression, her body position? What made you kind of go into that presentation with that subject, or, you know, the floral muse, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, I just like how her expression is so like, I guess, grounded is what I want to say. She seems very sure of herself, and since my theme was like the love of self, she has her hand over her heart as like she's pledging to herself, like she's promising to herself, like, you know, you are important and I'm going to treat you that way. Just because, I mean, you are the one person that you're always going to be with for the rest of your life. You can't detach yourself from yourself. So you have to find ways to take care of yourself and love yourself no matter what.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely got that. Like I said, I said stoic because it was still powerful, but like you said, it was the her becoming that embrace of herself, you know, like you said, to make sure that you can first and foremost protect yourself and be comfortable in that regard. Awesome work, man. I just, you know, just because, you know, we gotta, you know, we're good on time right now. So I'm gonna just try to give everyone a little bit more time on the pieces. Or oh, we have a question. This is awesome. All right. Hey, I'm gonna just be quiet. This is the fun part about like real time, is that, you know, I can kind of see everything kind of pop up. So let me.
I can go ahead and ask the question on behalf of one of our Facebook users.
Yes, please, if you don't mind.
Yes, for Alyssa Pickens, the question is, who was your muse from Kimberly Mosley, MUA?
I found a photo from a magazine and I saved it. I didn't know what I wanted to use it for. And then when Clayton presented us with this idea for the show, I was like, yeah, I'm going to use this picture. So I don't know the name of the model, unfortunately. But again, like I just loved her expression and her hand posing. So that's why I chose that picture. Awesome. And then as far as like the flowers go, the longer that I painted, I'm starting to be more intentional with my flowers. So I use a lot of sunflowers and dahlias in this piece, just because I went to Seattle a couple years ago, and there were a lot of sunflowers and dahlias in all the flower shops and stuff like that. And that was a trip that I traveled by myself and had to learn to rely on myself to get places and just learn to love my own company. So that's why I use those particular flowers as well.
Gotcha. Awesome. Yes, yes. Thank you. Shout out to Miss Kimberly Mosley. Thank you for Down and Gross for sharing that question real quick. Again, we are looking out for the questions, so please don't be afraid to comment. And thank you, Miss Alyssa, for responding to that. That was awesome. All right. Well, I don't see another question, so I'm just going to try to flow into a question that I have for Miss Jasmine. So Miss Jasmine, your piece, well, not even just your piece, because I've been watching, obviously your work on Instagram. Again, everybody, you guys got to follow every single artist on Instagram. You see a lot of their personal work. But I've been following Ms. Jasmine's work for a while. She's been experimenting with a lot of different processes and materials. You see that in her work, especially in this exhibit. If you can, share a little bit of the reasons why you work in such a continuous working style, or focusing on like autobiographical continuous artworks. Almost one to the next of them, they have a process, but you use mixed medium. So can you share a little bit of like your reasons why you go so much into that autobiographical projection with your work?
You mean
like you? It's so.
Myself as a
Yes, exactly.
I guess right now, well, I've been using myself as a muse for a really, really long time. It's just the most authentic way I could express myself. Just kind of being able to be vulnerable and put myself out there. Just using me as a platform to inspire others to be vulnerable. And I I know I've always kind of had, now that I'm transitioning into new mediums and new materials, I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I want to use myself as a muse, but then I go all the way abstract, and there's no figures or anything like that. But I even in my abstract pieces, I still look at them as self-portraits. So yeah, it's just about me being fully vulnerable.
Yeah. And you said the word authentic, and you said that you feel like it's the best way to be authentic with your work. Mm-hmm. And that's so beautiful to hear, because a lot of people look at themselves sometimes as a creative, and they just want to kind of be behind the artwork, where they can just project and everyone just sees it and just take it for what it is. But you being able to say, I want to use myself, and that as that anchor, that's so powerful and amazing. And of course, go ahead.
I say it takes courage.
Yeah.
To really put yourself out there fully on social media platforms, and even just, I don't know, telling your real life story.
Exactly. Yeah, and of course, just want to say I definitely understand, and congratulations. I know you're in the transition to motherhood, so we definitely, wish you the best with that, wish you much success with that. All right, awesome. So, okay, I want to see if I can expand a little bit here, and go. I see a strong sense of, and I'm gonna just touch on this because I feel like it needs to be touched on. Is a very strong sense of femininity, especially with Alyssa's work as well, Siobhan's work. A lot of you guys express femininity very solidly, And I think that it's important to see femininity expressed in a lot of different ways, but then also where someone can interpret it differently. Because again, I looked at Alyssa's piece and I saw naturally just a sense of like, you know, that stoicness and that embrace. And then when I looked at your piece, you know, Jasmine, I saw that just pow, like it was just kind of like that. Yeah, I'm here, but I'm able to give you again that authenticity of like this is the rawness of what it is. You know what I mean? And add the layers on top. So that's so amazing to really see that. I got to touch on that, man. It's something that is really dope to see. So shout out, of course. And of course, that gives the next segue to another dope leading lady, a part of the exhibit, you know, Miss Poetry Jackson. I know she's been on standby just soaking it in. So I gotta shout Miss Poetry out on another level here because, you know, I've seen, again, I follow you guys. You know, I see everything, you know what I'm saying? And Miss Poetry Jackson, you've been doing billboards and a few murals. And I've seen pictures of your haloed Black girls. That was a very dope mural. I believe that was out in Portsmouth, correct me if I'm wrong. Or was it out in this? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, the billboard was on East Virginia Beach Boulevard in Norfolk, Virginia. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yes. And their eyes were looking directly. So one thing I noticed is that mural, the eyes of those young girls were looking directly straight ahead, like straight to the viewer. You can't miss it. And this piece, on the other hand, you know, you touched on this a little bit on the color tones and skin tones, but you definitely had the eyes closed. Mm-hmm. What is the use, in your opinion, of the vibrant tones and the closed eyes communicate when compared to what people are used to seeing, especially like with that mural, you know, with the young girls expressing their eyes in other works where the eyes have been kind of like a punchline or a signature point. And this time, it, you know, again, it's closed. So what made you kind of go with that compared to what you used to doing?
I feel like with my original pieces, my signature pieces, the eyes have always been a really big subject in my art. Even before I started painting, my first love is spoken word poetry. So if you look at all my early poetry books, and there's hundreds of them since like grade school, in the corners of all the pages, there's always eyes. I always doodled eyes. So before I even knew that I had the talent to paint, like I just had a thing for drawing eyes. My father's also a visual artist. He prefers charcoals and colored pencils and things like that. And when I used to doodle when I was younger, he would always come and draw over my pictures and correct the eyes. And that's one thing that he showed me was how to make someone look like they're looking directly at you, is where you place the pupil at. So I used to just color the circle of the eyes. You know, there's one solid color, but I didn't realize that actually when you put that pupil in the middle, it kind of gives the eyes a little bit more direction. So that's a little bit of background on my fascination with the eyes. But for this, actually this collection right here, which was my first Roy G. Biv series, more or less the eyes were alluding to the idea of the windows to the soul. I wanted people to really get pulled in to the souls of these little girls, and the halos behind them were representing enlightenment. And each color in the background was representing a different chakra, a different energy center. So I was really trying to tie together the symbolism of them being enlightened, all their chakras being aligned. That's where the halo comes from, because their chakras are aligned. And the eyes were to draw people into their soul, to the soul of these young Black women, and the depth of their soul, how deep they were. And I thought that was captured really good in my early collection, the Roy G. Biv series. The second Roy G. Biv series, where the same, I took people through the 7 colors, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Also, that's the chakra colors with the second series, but those were the Veiled Women series. And that's the maybe the collection you're speaking of that I have in the Vibe District. I did a mural of that series and turned that into a mural for the Vibe District. And for that piece, it was just focusing on basically just the eyes of these women. Different nationality of women, they're all veiled, but the eyes will basically be bringing you into their soul once again. Now, with the last piece that I just created, which was my last piece for 2020, with the inspiration of Mr. Clayton Singleton. He came to my house once and he checked out some of my collections, and I asked him what's missing from, because he's the master artist. We call him the OG out here, the art dad. So I said, what's missing from my portraits? Like, I feel like, I love his tones and textures. I felt like there was something missing. And he simply said, poetry, you're doing great. They're just missing blood. And so that kind of let me know that, my color palette, I was missing a couple of colors from my color palette. So when I created this piece with him in mind, I didn't want to do my normal black and white portrait. I wanted to actually really put some color in there. And then the goal was light from all sides. So since she was sitting underneath this cotton candy sky, I wanted to make sure that all of those colors were reflected in her skin. So this is the first time that I actually used like hot pink and a little bit of red. And, I really got free with putting those colors in her skin tones. And for her eyes being closed, that was more alluding to her inner garden. And so instead of like with my earlier pieces and the eyes being a window to the soul, for this piece, you're actually inside of her soul. You're inside of her inner garden. So her eyes are closed. So the images that you see surrounding her are actually the things that are in her mind. And instead of having the halo behind her, I put the butterflies going around her head, also making it seem like the butterflies are putting a halo around her head. So still alluding to the enlightenment. The chakras are still represented with the colors of the sky. Her eyes being closed, instead of, us looking into her soul, we're actually inside of her inner garden, in her happy space.
Awesome. Wow.
I love that. I love that.
Did I channel that right?
Yeah, no, I love that. I love it. I love how like the entire piece is a reflection of the actual halo, and not just. I love it. Really great job.
Thank you, Rayne.
Right. Thank you, Rayne. You took the words right out of my mouth there. For real. Awesome. All right. So I'm gonna just kind of flow into some few more questions here. Just because I don't see anything popping up in the comment section. So I'm gonna jump real quick to a question for Mensah while I got you here. Mensah, real quick, you're a native of Richmond, Virginia. You recently moved to the West Coast, and as I understand, you'll be flying back and forth to work on projects here in the 757. Can you share how your agents reflect the physical virtual work in which you're immersed in?
Yeah, certainly. So like my main inspiration is the virtual space, the space that we're even in right now. It's this kind of intangible world, but it's so vibrant and interactive. We can access the entire world through these virtual spaces, and it really only exists in our minds. They come through these mediums such as devices, TVs, phones, and things of that nature. And my agents are an expression of how we interact with this virtual space. It doesn't have an actual physical space, and so it's reimagining or imagining what that space looks like. And so when you see these agents, or they're my figurative subjects in my work, and so when you see these agents and how their necks are elongated and moving through all the canvas, it's as if that neck is the bridge between the physical and virtual world. It's a physical representation of how we're moving through that space. And you see it, and you've seen it as I've researched, the importance of symbolism of the neck. I've seen it in other things, like Missy's video back in the day. Busta Rhymes had it in his video. I think Donnie Darko had it in that movie. Like there's these spaces, and they all kind of represent the same thing. And so, it's really that. And then when I first started creating these characters, back in like 2013, 14. It was out of a study of love. I was looking for subjects to just create, just drawings of. I was just trying to practice my figurative drawing. And so as opposed to picking the same muses, I was like, how can I find a way to access or have a variety of muses? So I went straight to Instagram, and I just started scrolling Instagram and finding people. And then I found that I was able to start falling in love with how people presented themselves in that space and creating connections in that way. And so it was interesting that for this exhibition, it kind of went full circle to how I first started creating these characters and how it created, or how how I looked at my own community in that virtual space, people I had really great relationships with, and how I knew them in the real world versus how they presented themselves and what that actually looked like. So in this piece, it was kind of retelling of that. And so you have these kind of symbolisms of hashtags and how you can access and create these and find these communities. And then the two figures that are in there, one person I met through an exhibit I was in and went to Norfolk State. Another one is a guy that I met at Hampton, and they have really great selfies that I like. Those images are just strong to me, so I wanted to reinterpret them in my works and kind of create them put them in the same space. And speaking of how I travel, I just moved, like in that Norfolk, there are a lot of symbolism in my works, mainly in like Norfolk floods. And it's by the sea, it floods a lot, and so the color blue started to really influence or become an influence in my work. And since I've been here in San Diego, like now it's like looking at the foliage because it's so different from the East Coast, and now that's becoming more of an inspiration. So it'll be interesting seeing how that kind of transforms my work depending on the place that I'm at versus the places I have access to.
Yeah, man, awesome. That's amazing to definitely just take a bit of home, you know what I mean, with you all the time, just and embody that and project that into your work. So thank you so much, man. That's I'm gonna salute you on that. All right, so comment sections. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna actually flow into the next question for the next artist. I'm actually gonna jump to Ray Johnson real quick. Just real quick, Ray. So halos, something when it comes to just artwork period, and you look at just paintings, older paintings, Renaissance work, mosaics, all these different things that have been around in time, and the halo is definitely prevalent in those things. If you can, just kind of describe a little bit with your halos and your paintings, why this particular painting uses red halos, and why the father is holding the sun right above his head like that, because that really speaks volumes.
I always use halos with like my female figures, and it's supposed to give like a royalty, that type of feel to it. I just felt like with this piece, there's just things going on that, going on with me as a son and as a father that I felt like a red halo would give off. So he's holding him up. He's holding his son up to raise him up, to be the best that you can be. I'm a strong believer of your greatness is already inside of you. So, we have to push that out of our kids, but I also want my kids to know that it's already there. So be as great as you're supposed to be. Don't care what anybody else thinks or whatever. But there's also a fear in that. There's a fear in being as great as you're supposed to be. I remember just being in school, I didn't want to draw because I knew I was better than everybody else. And I didn't want to show that I was better than anybody else for whatever reason. I didn't want them to ask me to draw them something, or we just have a fear of showing how great we really are. And we got to let that go. And so the red halo can be, showing how great you are, because the color red and bold, but it's also a bullseye, because when you're that great, there comes obstacles, there comes responsibilities, there comes people who don't want you to be that great for whatever reason. Speaking on what's going on, things that's going on now, because of your skin color, it's because of who you are. I think about my son a lot in this piece, and I'm different. My sons are different, and people aren't going to like that just because of that. So I chose red to show that boldness, but to also show that bullseye that you're going to have. So that's where the fear comes in the title, Fear of a Rising Sun.
Right.
You're going to be scared, and the people around you are going to be scared, but you got to accept it all, and you got to be that greatness that you're supposed to be.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense, man. On a lot of levels, you touching on a lot of things that's happening right now too. So I get it. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm gonna go to Miss Siobhan real quick. got a little time here. So this is the fun part. And I know because I know the viewers, those that are tuning in that might follow you, are gonna definitely be smiling when I break this down a little bit. So, you're a painter, a muralist, a makeup artist, a singer, amongst other things. You have a very dope creative spirit, and I'm curious, how does all of that play into how, or why you created, this artwork? It's the only piece in the show that's horizontally, projected and presented. And it's assembled with smaller paintings. And and it's assembled with small paintings, and you didn't create it to just be one big piece. You had a lot of different elements. So I guess why not just create one piece with just one big authentic just push? What made you go to the lane?
Is anything really that simple? You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I guess that's what it is. Like, is anything really that simple? And then especially when you're referring to things like authenticity and truth and, love and things like this, it's very complex. And it, to me, all of the other things I do, like the special effects scars and makeup and things like that, lended me the permission to do what I did. I am not going to say that was just my first idea, because quite honestly, that triangle that's in the middle was on that canvas for like almost a year with a stark black background. And I fought that thing, and I, product after product, and hour after hour. And it was just like, I can't get through what I want to get through with this black surface. So I just took it apart and started building literal pieces that meant exactly what I wanted them to mean, so that I didn't have to worry about trying to fill in the background. What can I use to, we don't need it, like I said, just that combination of just the texture, the textile. I was telling a few of the people at the gallery that stopped to talk to me about it, how the threading represents a few things. If you get to see it up close, all of these things are assembled, held up by a gold metallic thread. There's a 4-point hanging, northwest, east, south of each of them. They are all attached. If you cut a thread, you will most likely unravel the entire painting. Everything is kind of very much so intensely dependent on each other. And just working on that, like throwing those really long threads, over every time, pulling them through, it reminded me of the daily, of that relationship, those very small, good morning, how are you? Good night, how was your day? What'd you have for lunch? What do you want to have for dinner? I don't know, what about you? Like that daily soft, that gentle routine that you get used to, that kind of builds and connects and holds up these grand ideas. And I say grand because while the triangle itself is rather large in the center, if you get up close to the painting, there's a little fox and a little wolf in the bottom corners. And these represent myself and my past partner that I mentioned before. Like I said, this is a fuse between a love story. So by using those two, built characters, I'm hoping that it draws you to size. Seeing animals that you recognize draws you to a particular size, which will then magnify all of the other pieces in the painting. It really should make it feel universal and grand, and like this story and all of these lines, like I mentioned before, how you can just walk a line and get a story from one thing. And it just for me, like, that's how authenticity works. Just kind of like how
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I got you. No, thank you. That makes, wow, thank you. Because it makes so much sense, especially when you broke down the threading part. That really was like, if I didn't know, I know now. It makes sense.
Yes.
Everything it being interconnected and how it can really be unraveled just by one.
I do want to point this out. The wolf is holding a bouquet of flowers. For those that got to see it up close. And that bouquet is wrapped in a tiny bit of that gold thread. That is
Gotcha.
the only piece of thread that is not attached to anything, that is not holding up anything. That part in particular, I like to mention because it's like how I mentioned before, if you pull the thread, if you cut a thread, you can take it apart. That kind of speaks to good intention for me. The intent is to present me with flowers, you know, to take they picked flowers from this mysterious garden, you know what I mean, that they're walking through, and you wrapped it in this thread that's necessary to our existence. And while that intention is good, we may pay for it later. So when you follow this story, that's why I say you may find certain darknesses or like, I wonder how that is gonna work out, you know, like type of thing.
Yeah.
But just that really realness of just all those elements working together.
Yeah, definitely. And yes, shout out to the administrator for putting up these images so we can get closer looks. So I know the public is seeing that right now. So definitely everybody stay tuned in and stay locked in. All right. So you know, of course, thank you so much, Siobhan, for breaking that down and really put it into context. All right. So I know we're kind of close on time. It kind of gave me a little bit of leeway to go a little bit over. So with that said, I'm gonna just kind of take that a few minutes because I want to give Rayne a chance. You know, Rayne is kind of low key with his, so I definitely let me just get Rayne real quick, and then I'll give it to a close. But you know, Life from Both Sides, Rayne, is more than an art exhibit in a gallery. You know, recently you and Parrish created an imagination room for the kids as a part of the show's related events. That was part of sponsored by Down and Gross. Tell us about the imagination room real quick and share to us why the arts are necessary in your opinion for a healthy community, if you can.
It's not muted anymore, my bad. So my personal experience, my whole family is creative, and I've always, been in a very creative, friendly environment, very nurturing to like my creative energy, and just anything I want to do creatively. So, like that's extended to like my little cousins and like them literally just like walking in the house, visiting, and just seeing my room and just like saying like, yo, I want to come in here, but they can't be in there because it's like paints and brushes and, stuff that can hurt kids all over the place. But, one cousin in particular, his name is Dakota. I remember when he gave me this drawing, and he called it Imagination Room. And, that's what he called my room, like whenever he came over there. So, like, I don't know, like just seeing something like that and seeing how, him just looking at me, literally just doing what I love to do, like struck him enough to create a visual depiction of my room. Do you understand how much like that has to strike a kid for them to like really put the time and energy to come up with a whole entire name for your room? Kids are all over the place. So if they're sitting down and they're drawing your room, that it meant a lot to them, So I hung it up in my room, and like that's something that I see every day when I walk out of my room. And I remember like months past that, like I was thinking of like how I can include the community more in my work and, what I can do. And I thought of this idea called, this idea to have a nonprofit organization that basically held sessions or paint ideas, whatever you want to call it, just held activities that involved, held activities for kids during the day. And at night, it was like a gallery, and that nonprofit, all the sales that would go, it would be put to organization of my choice or whoever was involved, our choice. And I was thinking of a name for it in Imagination Room, and so when Clayton, he was like, like we have this space for you guys to do, activities in, to interact more with the community. I thought, like it'd be a great time to just maybe see what happened and, like what I can do with Imagination Room if I actually like brought it out there. So it's another one of those things of actually physically doing something on your notepad or on your head, but actually like taking those steps to do it. Even if it's only with 5 people, you still took the steps to make it a reality. So now it is a real thing. It's not just a mental thing, or it's not just an idea on a piece of paper. It's actually happened. It's actually recorded. So only way it can go now is like you can either push it further or you can stop it. I'm gonna push it further because I have a bigger envision for it. So that's basically what Imagination Room is. It's just my just me just playing my part in, you know, spreading that creative energy and helping nurture that creative energy in kids because it's important. It's important to nurture that. It's very important.
You're, man, awesome. Spot on, man. Thank you. Look, good job on the Imagination Room. I saw the photos on Down and Gross. You can see more of their images from that activity. It was awesome. So shout out to Down and Gross. Check them out on social media so you can see the images. But yeah, we are at the little bit over the 3 o'clock mark. So I definitely want to, you know, first and foremost, want to say thank you so much to the artists here, Life from All Sides, from being available, you know, being accessible, making the time, you know, to separate just to kind of get in tune with what's going on and say hello to the viewers. We really, 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 really appreciate your energy. Thank you, Down and Gross, as well, for sponsoring this with the Zoom and making it successful for us, being the admin, helping out with the images that you guys have been checking out, as well as getting the responses to the public. So again, check out Down and Gross, downing-gross.org/LFAS to get more information on the exhibit. Register so you can check it out. It's going to be up there until March 6th. Awesome. So guess what, guys? Black History Month. That'll be a nice exhibit to probably check out too, right? So just throwing that out there. Also, just want to shout out again before we go, Mr. Clayton Singleton, for curating this exhibit, you know, behind the scenes, making the thing happen, bringing that vision to life. You know, he's definitely, you know, in tune with everybody on the comments section on Facebook. You can definitely check him out on Instagram. I believe it's Clayton Singleton Art on Instagram. Check out some of his work as well. You know, he's behind the scenes, but it's really about the artist, but it's about really just projecting the message. You know, I think you guys have been, you know, it's a hard time for a lot of people right now, obviously, but to be able to inspire the next person, the next artist, next community member, the next generation is something I think we all really strive to do as artists. And I really feel like this exhibit, you know, Life from All Sides is really doing that on a lot of levels. So if you can, to the public, please check out this exhibit. You know, if you're in the area able to stop by, please check out Down and Gross. You go to their website for their operating hours and register. But again, shout out to Life from All Sides. Again, I'm Nayland Smart, also known as M Smart Guy on Instagram. Of course, Seasoning Magazine is my publication. Seasoning spelled with a C, CEASONING magazine. I'm going to definitely try to work on a few more things. And if we get some more things popping up where you guys can interact with artists, we'll definitely let you know. But in order to know that, you have to definitely follow Life from All Sides on Instagram. You got to follow Down and Gross on Instagram. You got to follow Seasoning Magazine on Instagram. You got to follow the artists on Instagram. So again, and Facebook. So check us out. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Your energy is awesome. We appreciate it. And again, check out Life from All Sides at Down and Gross Culture Arts Center. And you guys enjoy yourselves. And appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good afternoon. Take it easy, y'all.
Peace. Much love.
Thank you, everyone.
Girls, Clayton, everybody. Yes. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Yes.
Dope team.
All
Dope
right.
team.
Yes, and I'll
Thank
put
you,
a
beautiful people.
Yes, peace. Y'all
I
be
miss you
safe.
guys.
For sure. I'm headed to the gallery right now. They close at 4.